Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and it looks like we have some news from Cubicle 7. These are the people in charge of Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, and there's a few reasons to be excited about this. Not only do they flesh out the lore and update loads of obscure lore, which is always good, but a while back they also confirmed a Lustria supplement. This is something that we've been asking for a long time now, and now we have a little bit of detail regarding that. So let's just read in some of the details, as some of this is actually pretty cool. Actually, before we begin, if you're more Total War orientated, anything that's kind of new here could potentially see itself moving into Total War. There's been many parallels between Cubicle 7 and Warhammer Total War because of not only just the event, which featured both, but also just some little bits of lore here and there. And, well, you know, Lustria has also been made canon through Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. So, yeah, any new units, any new types of weaponry, new monsters, that's the type of stuff that you might be interested in. So this is their usual post on Warhammer Wednesday, but moved to Thursday because they were delayed for some reason. What's coming up for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay? Cubicle 7 has plans in place to produce a great selection of supplements for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay over the next year, and while some of these projects are yet to be developed, we currently have 3 in the works that should be available over the next few months. If you guys follow Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, you'll know that Cubicle 7 are actually quite fast at releasing new content. We get loads of books per year. Even during the whole world-stopping event, they actually were still very consistent. Nearing completion is our hotly anticipated guide to the lands and inhabitants of the continent of Lustria. This massive 224-page sourcebook goes into fine detail about the perils faced by those who are lured into this mysterious and exotic land. Wealth and renown can be found by those who adventure to the New World, but it is an unforgiving and perilous place. Only the most resourceful and good fortune visitors have any hope of returning to their home shores. Lustria is a home to the Lizardmen civilization, and whilst it is a shadow of its former might, it is still more than capable of defending itself from intruders. Lustria provides everything a GM needs to know about the 3 species of Lizardmen: Skinks, Saurus, and Croxigor, their slan masters, and many of the strange and invariably deadly creatures they share their habitat with. Many temple cities and sites are described, with a close examination of the temple city of Laxan. Okay, so already we're getting some pretty interesting things. The fact is, we're going to be finding out a lot about Lustria. They say that they're going to talk about the inhabitants. It's very likely we might hear some stuff regarding Amazons, which would be freaking cool. Though if memory serves, a sourcebook then gets further expanded with further supplements, so if we don't hear anything about any sort of Amazon activity, that might be established in the future. But yeah, 224 pages is freaking huge. Like, that's half the size of the Warhammer Fantasy 8th edition rulebook. So yeah, that's massive. Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this. There's gonna be a lot of lore. We have some artwork here of a Saurus. This is called Tazzle the Saurus, and we don't know, it's likely, an Old Blood, but he's got additional hand weapons, which means he's dueling, and definitely Sauruses with additional hand weapons would be very useful, as right now we've got them with hand weapons and shield and spears. It would be an anti-infantry unit. That's actually kind of terrifying. I like the idea of it, though. I do like the idea of additional hand weapons for Sauruses, as it's more primal, isn't it, than just using a shield to protect yourself. Either way, it looks pretty badass, and, well, all the artwork for Cubicle 7's stuff has always been really good. They've got loads of talented artists like Sam, they've got Alessandro and Ken. All of them have just produced top-tier stuff, and we'll see some more now. But we do have some more information here. There are other civilizations that have managed, at no small cost, to carve out a lair on the coasts or in the jungle. This book takes a detailed look at the haunted shores of the Vampire Coast, the Norse settlement of Skeggi, the High Elf Fortress and harbour of the Citadel of Dusk, and the clan Pestilence presence in the ruins of the defiled temple city of Quetzal. Okay, so no mention of Amazons, but then again they kind of fall on Lizardmen, but hey, new Vampire Coast lore is always really good, considering that we've not had Vampire Coast lore in a while. More Norscan lore is always going to be great, as, let's be honest, Norsca doesn't really have too much information. They do get fleshed out a lot by Cubicle 7, so hopefully we can find out some new types of weapons, some new types of careers would be fantastic. High Elf lore is going to be interesting. To be honest, I keep forgetting that the Citadel of Dusk is there, mostly because it's so out of the way, but yeah, I'm always happy to get more High Elf lore, especially maybe a little bit more on the Sea Elves would be great. And finally, Clan Pestilence, my favourite Skaven clan. Yeah, Clan Pestilence desperately needs more attention, so this is definitely a reason for me to get this book. They're a major clan and they've largely got ignored. It's been a thing, especially even in Total War, where they're treated more as a minor clan than anything. So yeah, I'm super excited to hear anything that's there, especially like the Pestilent Brotherhood stuff. Hell, you know, we've got a lot of older lore from, I believe, 6th edition Warhammer Fantasy, which had its own Clan Pestilence army. I'd love to see that expanded upon and see if anything new crops up, because that's always quite fun. Some new artwork for Lufa Harkin. Yeah, very, very cool. I'm a big fan of this art style. I just absolutely love him. Like, one of the only redeeming parts of the End Times, believe it or not, is just like the story parts of Lufa Harkin, because it's just so funny. It's done in such a great way. So yeah, more of this character is going to be great. I'd love more lore in general. We have a little bit new information here, so in addition to this, there is a guide to adventuring in Lustria, including 4 new careers and an endeavors system focusing on establishing managing a no doubt forlorn settlement. Okay. Several new diseases with which to plague players, options for playing a skink. Oh, nice. Dozens of adventure ideas and several astonishingly powerful NPCs to act as patrons, nemesis, or both. Yeah, okay, this all sounds really, really interesting. The idea of playing as a skink is going to be quite fun. Do you just do like the whole all that skinks constantly? Or is there going to be a translation issue when you're talking to other players? I'm loving this. I am absolutely loving this. We've got artwork for a new career, which is the Interpreter. I guess this is how you're going to be able to speak to the Lizardmen of the region. Yeah, she's carrying out a lot of books and a lot of scrolls. Pretty cool, though. I wonder how this is going to work. Hopefully it won't take too long to actually get some information. Do they normally post little posts regarding new careers? Blogs and stuff? I hope so, because I'm really, really curious to see how this is going to work. Love everything so far, though. And then we got some pretty big info at the bottom. Ubersreich Adventures 3 is next in line after that. The book revisits the city and explains the changes that are afoot because of the events of the Enemy Within campaign. Previously published adventures, An Eye for an Eye, The Horror of Hugaldal, and Mirror of Desire, are given a fresh new look and updated rules so they can be used with the current edition of Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. Damn. Okay, this is really, really good. Let's continue. Ideas on combining these standalone adventures into a short campaign are provided alongside a comprehensive timeline of the events unfolding in and around Ubersreich, with additional plot hooks and potential adventures. Additionally, an entirely new scenario intended to be played after An Eye for an Eye involves recent power shifts and a monstrous threat to the sleepy hamlet of Geistbach. We are also putting together a guide for playing characters from the Rogues and Rangers classes. Deft Steps, Light Fingers will cover subject matter including the Cult of Reynold, oh okay, how to set up a gang of ne'er-do-wells, ideas for carrying out con jobs, forgeries, gamekeeping, and poaching, expanded rules for wilderness travel, the Cult of Tal, okay, that's a big one for me, and a rogues gallery of famed bounty hunters, outlaws, crooks, and gamblers to provide inspiration, employment, or rivalry. All this is very, very good. So, a big reason why is obviously old rules being updated for newer systems is great, because that means that you can keep on playing. The Cult of Tal getting some information is going to be very, very important, especially for those people who are interested in Warhammer the Old World, as Tal is one of the major gods there. Is actually a big contender as Talabecland, one of the major factions in Warhammer the Old World, focuses around the Cult of Tal. So seeing that actually get some fleshing out, maybe a warrior priest, maybe some specific units around that region. Hell, that could be possible new units for like a DLC too. But yeah, I'm super excited. This is really, really good. So far, so good with all this information. Hopefully, we won't have to wait too long to see more about Lustria, as I'm really, really curious. I really have been dying for a Lustria book for a long, long time now. Maybe we can get some information regarding new lizard monsters. You know, obviously, there's the Thunder Lizard that we barely hear about. AOS is getting new dinos with the Raptidons. Maybe they could also be found in Warhammer Fantasy. Obviously, that's way down the line in terms of speculation. We're going to have to wait and see. But all this sounds really, really interesting. I am mostly curious about anything to do with Clan Pestilence and obviously Skeggy. But let me know what you're waiting for. And yeah, let's start a little bit of a discussion. Until then, I'll see you all again very, very soon. And hopefully we won't have to wait too long. Have a great day, everyone.